doing a voiceover because my kids were in the room and there was a lot of noise and question asking and all that good stuff. So I'm going to be trying out some new products that I had in my stash, and they're not new to the market, but they're new to me. So yeah, stay tuned and you'll see, I know, how they perform. And the swatches weren't so great, so I should probably try and do some separate swatches for you guys. I'll see if I can get that in there. Yeah, and if you like this video, please click the like button, and please subscribe if you'd like to see more content from me, swatches, reviews, and first impressions, and chit chat, and lots of girly makeup stuff. So hit subscribe and join the family. Why not? We ain't got nothing else to do, right? We're all in quarantine till who knows when. But if you'd like to see how I got this look using these products, then keep on watching. Okay guys, so first I'm going in with the shade Dayum, which is a mid-tone brown, placing that in my crease and then bringing it down to the lower lash line using windshield wiper movements just to buff it out a little bit. And I'm going to make sure to leave the center of my lid clear, that way when I go in with the lid shade it is easier to place. Next, I'm buffing out that color just above the crease with a lighter tone brown called the One. And I'm just buffing it out, diffusing any harsh lines. And so now I'm taking the color I Dye, which is a light charcoal gray, and I'm just placing that all over the center of the lid. And then of course, right here, my little one is talking to me. I don't know what he was saying, but every time I start to film, he always wants to come in and join, make his little cameo. Usually he wants to show you guys one of his toys. But yeah, so I'm just building that color up to get the intensity that I want. And once I have that, I go back into the first shade, which is Dayum, in the crease. And I feel like I lost a little bit of it, so I'm just placing it back in the crease and the lower lash line. And sorry I forgot to show you guys the palette before, but I finally remembered to do that so you could see the shades as I'm placing them. And then I'm just going to go back in and put a little bit more color on the lid. And really, when you are creating your look, you're just going to do probably a lot of back and forth, adding color, blending it out, placing the color back on your lid, blending it out, so forth and so on until you get the look that you want. And now I am just doing the same thing on the other eye. And now I'm going to use the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in the shade Butterscotch to carve out my cut crease. And the way that I like to do this is just placing a little bit on the lash line, and then I look up to see if any transfer is going to occur, and then I draw my crease line on top, right where the concealer transferred on the lid. And I'm just doing a half cut crease, which means I'm just placing the concealer where I want it, just from the inner corner halfway onto the lid. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then once I finish the cut crease, I let it dry down for a little bit. And then I'm going back in with the gray color, lid color eye dye, and I'm just placing that over the edge of the concealer, buffing it out onto the lid. So now I'm taking the shade Butte, which is a champagne-y, it's like a dual chrome color for my lid. It's a shimmer, and it wasn't really quite where I was using a flat brush, but I'm gonna spray it with some of my Algenist Splash, which is just a hydrating mist. So I'll spray my brush, go back into the color, and see if that helps the shadow to stick to the area. And I'm applying this only to the area where I placed the concealer. And it didn't really seem to be working too well, so I decided to try my finger, because a lot of times shimmers apply really nicely with your finger. And now that I've taken all my nails off, I can finally get in there and do that. So yeah, you see it applied much nicer, much smoother, and the shadow stuck with really nice intensity. So I'll go in and do the other side with my finger as well. Just patting it on and building up the shade. I really like my shimmers to shine. And then I'm going to go back over the edges with the color eye dye, which is the gray. And then I'm just patting it with my finger just to buff it out so that there aren't any harsh lines in it. The colors just kind of melt into each other. And right here, I'm going back into the crease color Damn, and I'm just adding some more into the crease. And remember, I said that you're probably going to go back and forth, adding colors, buffing them out. And if ever you feel like you lost one of the shades that you want to be seen, you just go back in. And then I'm also buffing out and diffusing that color with the shade The One, which is the lighter brown. And now I picked up some of the black matte color, which is Jaw Drop, and I'm just adding that to the outer V, the outer corners, for depth. And adding a little smoke to the look. Buffing out the crease again with Damn. Now I'm adding a glitter. It's a silver glitter, and I actually got this from AliExpress. I'll try and put the link in the description box below, but I got a bunch of colors and they work really, really well. They were only like $1 and change each. Now it's time to do the base, and oh, forgot to do the primer. So I'm going to go in with First Aid Beauty Hello Fab Coconut Skin Smoothie Priming Moisturizer. And just going to place that all over my face, rub it into the skin. This is a really moisturizing primer, and there's a little bit of tack. Then in my T-zone where I get oily, I'm going to place the Farsali Skin Tone Blur. It's actually just a little sample that I got from Sephora, but I really like it. And now I'm going to go in with my MAC Studio Fix Fluid Foundation in NC50. For concealer, I'm using my Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the shade Butterscotch. Under my eyes, down the center of my nose, and on my forehead, and a little bit on my chin, and Cupid's bow. And I'm going to blend it out, starting with my chin first. I always do my under eyes last. I like to let it dry down a little bit, and that way you get better coverage. So I blend every other part out first, and then my under eyes. Set my under eye, I'm using my Huda Beauty setting powder in Kunafa. This gives a really nice brightening tone, and the powder is so fine. That's why when I took the top off, you saw me swiping my hand because it kind of just blows everywhere. But I love the texture of it. The fineness, it's very finely milled, so it's very soft and applies flawlessly, and it just melts right into your skin. So I dip my beauty sponge into the powder and then tap off a little bit onto the back of my hand, and then apply to my under eye. Look at the difference. You see it immediately. And I don't bake too often because my skin is dry in that area. So I just like to place the powder, just taking just enough and setting the areas. So I'm basically setting everywhere I placed the concealer with the Huda Beauty Kunafa powder. So I use this technique just to carve out my contour. They call it reverse contouring, and I just take a little bit of the setting powder that I use in my highlighted areas to carve out my chin. And basically I will let that sit just for a couple of minutes so that the area where I'm placing the powder gets highlighted, and that way my contour / bronzed areas show up better. And now to set the rest of my face, I'm going to use my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in the shade Medium Deep. As you can tell, I have had this powder forever and it lasts a long time. I mean years. I've had it for years. So my son is 11 or turning 11, and I've had this powder since he was, I don't know, not even a year old. That's how long, and it's still good. And now to contour, which I probably should have done before. I'm using Sleek contour palette in the shade Extra Dark. And I'm using that first color, that first shade in the second row, and I'm placing my contour. Yeah, usually I do this before I set my face with powder, but this is a really good quality cream contour and it blends out really nicely. It would blend better and easier if I applied it before I applied the powder, but gonna make it work. Now I am going to apply bronzer. This is a bronzer from a company called Lip Bar. And it has a little bit of shimmer, but it is a really, really nice shade. And the shade is called Just Got Paid. These bronzers come with a blush, but I didn't use the blush in this video. So now I'm just contouring my nose. So now it's time to finish up the lower lash line, and I'm gonna go in with the shimmer shade Say Whoa, which is a really nice rosy shimmer shade, and I'm going to just place that on the inner third of the lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Jaw Drop, which is that matte black, and I'm going to place that on the rest of the lower lash line, making sure to connect with the outer V. And then to smoke that out, I'm going to take the crease shade with a pencil brush, which was Dayum, and just buff out the black so that it's not so harsh. Again, making sure to connect all the way to the outer V. And once that's done, I'm just going to buff out the edges, blend, 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 blend. Just making sure everything looks very seamless and smoky. And then I'm going to take a little bit of setting powder and just clean up the edges. And we cannot forget the inner corner, so I'm going back into Say Whoa and just placing that in the inner corner. Now we're going to apply the blush, and this is a Kat Von D Lolita blush. And I forgot exactly what shade this is, but I will make sure to put that in the description box or put it up here on the screen somewhere. And now I'm going to add highlighter. Now this is the Ciate, I think it's called the Staycation highlighter. It is surprisingly really nice. I thought it was going to be too light. I wasn't sure if it was going to work. I got it in one of my beauty subscription boxes, but I actually really like it. So I'm just adding that to the high points of my face, the cheekbones, a little in the brow bone area, the bridge of my nose, and the tip of my nose, and a little bit on the cupid's bow. I never can get that quite right, but anyway, now I'm just gonna go ahead and put on some mascara, coat my lashes before I put on the falsies. And these are just some random lashes that I had in my drawer. If I find the box that they go in, I will put that in the description box below as well. I'm just applying the lashes, which went on surprisingly well. I used the Duo Lash Adhesive, the white one. I have both white and black, but I used white for this video. And now just applying some mascara to my bottom lashes. And now for the lip. This is liquid lipstick by Colored Rain, and it is in the shade Red Sea. And I am so sorry guys that this is off center. I don't know what happened. I'll try to get it right next time. So here's the finished look. I just threw this wig on. It's not glued down or anything like that. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed the palette, and I don't have any complaints about any of the products. I'm happy with everything, the way everything performed. The shadows were kind of creamy, maybe a little bit hard to pick up, but you know, they perform really nicely. They built up really nicely, and yeah, very pigmented, and I can say I really love it. So it's probably one of the only cool tone palettes that I have, and so I am very happy to have it. And well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Everybody, please stay healthy, stay safe, stay inside, practice social distancing if you have to go outside, wear your masks, wear your gloves, because I still see lots of people out there not wearing any masks or gloves, and I'm like, okay, stay away from me. All right, well, I will see you next time. I hope you had a good time, and take care.